Have you ever felt the overwhelming urge to explain yourself, to justify your worth, or to push endlessly for things you deeply desire? In a world so loud, so focused on doing and proving, we often forget the quiet strength of being. Today, I want to share with you the incredible power of staying silent and allowing life to unfold naturally. Trust me, there's wisdom in letting go and embracing the quiet. In our fast-paced, instant gratification world, trusting the timing of your life may feel like an impossible task. Everywhere you turn, it seems like everyone else is sprinting ahead, achieving milestone after milestone, while you're left wondering, why not me? Why not now? But here's the truth: life unfolds according to its own rhythm, not according to your deadlines or society's expectations. Trusting the timing of your life requires faith, a deep belief that there is a purpose and plan guiding you even when you cannot see it. Think about the seasons of the year. You wouldn't expect roses to bloom in the middle of winter, nor would you rush a caterpillar to become a butterfly before it's ready. The beauty of nature is that it takes the time it needs without resistance, without urgency. Your life is no different. Now, this doesn't mean you should sit idly by and wait for miracles to happen. Trusting the timing of your life is about preparation and patience. It's about showing up, doing your part, and then releasing control of the outcome. Imagine planting a seed in fertile soil. You water it, give it sunlight, and care for it diligently. But no matter how much you wish for it to grow overnight, you can't force it. The seed knows its own timing, and it will sprout, grow, and bloom when the conditions are just right. The same principle applies to your dreams, relationships, and personal growth. Sometimes the delays you face aren't denials, they're detours meant to prepare you for something greater. Maybe you're being asked to develop skills, gain perspective, or build resilience before you reach the next chapter of your life. Or perhaps the opportunity you're waiting for isn't ready for you yet. Trust that every delay has a purpose, even if you can't understand it in the moment. When you rush through life, constantly chasing the next thing, you miss the beauty of what's unfolding right now. Think about the last time you were so focused on reaching a goal that you forgot to enjoy the journey. Did you savor the small victories along the way? Did you pause to appreciate how far you had come? Life is not a race, it's a series of moments, each one offering you a lesson or a gift. Trusting the timing of your life also means silencing the noise around you. It's easy to feel pressured by other people's timelines, friends getting promotions, starting families, or achieving goals that you haven't yet reached. But comparison is the thief of joy. Their journey is not your journey. What's meant for you will not pass you by, but it will come at the right time and no sooner. When you surrender to this truth, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. You learn to relax into the flow of life, knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Each step, each setback, each success is part of a greater plan that is leading you to your purpose. So take a deep breath. Let go of the need to control everything. Trust that the universe is working in your favor, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Remember, even the longest winter eventually gives way to spring. Trust the timing of your life and know that everything will arrive exactly when it's meant to. We live in a world filled with noise, literal and metaphorical. From the buzz of notifications to the endless chatter of opinions and advice, our minds are constantly bombarded. It's no wonder so many of us feel lost, overwhelmed, or unsure of what we truly want. Silence, though often underestimated, is one of the most powerful tools we have to cut through the chaos and find clarity. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of intentional stillness. It's in this stillness that your thoughts can finally settle, like sediment sinking to the bottom of a stirred-up glass of water. When the water becomes still, it turns crystal clear. The same is true for your mind. In the quiet, your priorities begin to reveal themselves, your intuition strengthens, and your true desires come to the surface. Think about it. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to simply sit in silence? No distractions, no phone, no endless to-do list, just you, alone with your thoughts. For many, this can feel uncomfortable at first. We're so used to constant stimulation that the quiet can feel almost deafening. But in reality, silence isn't empty, it's full of possibilities. It's where creativity is born, where solutions to problems emerge, and where the answers you've been searching for finally make themselves known. Silence also helps you filter out the noise of external expectations. Too often, we're influenced by what others think we should do or be. We listen to the opinions of friends, family, coworkers, and even strangers, allowing their voices to drown out our own. But your life is yours to live, and your decisions should reflect your own values and dreams, not someone else's. Silence gives you the space to reconnect with your inner voice, to hear what your heart is telling you without interference. Moreover, silence encourages self-reflection. In the quiet, you can take an honest look at your life and ask yourself important questions. Am I happy? Am I living in alignment with my values? What do I need to let go of? What do I want to pursue? These moments of introspection can lead to profound insights that guide you toward a more authentic and fulfilling path. It's also worth noting that silence is a sanctuary for healing. When you're constantly surrounded by noise, it's easy to suppress your emotions and avoid dealing with them. But in silence, there's no escape. You're faced with your feelings, both the joyous and the painful, and that's where true healing begins. By sitting with your emotions instead of running from them, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and what you need to move forward. Silence doesn't just provide clarity about your internal world, it also helps you see the external world more clearly. In the quiet, you become a better observer. You notice details you might have missed, patterns you hadn't recognized, and opportunities that were hidden in plain sight. Silence sharpens your awareness and helps you approach life with greater intentionality. Practically speaking, embracing silence doesn't mean retreating to a mountaintop or meditating for hours a day. It can be as simple as starting your morning with a few minutes of quiet reflection, turning off the radio during your commute, or taking a walk in nature without your power. These small pockets of silence can have a profound impact on your mental clarity and emotional well-being. In a world that often equates being busy with being important, choosing silence is a radical act. It's a way of reclaiming your time, your energy, and your focus. It's about creating space to think, to feel, and to simply be. And in that space, you'll find the clarity you've been seeking. So I encourage you to embrace the power of silence. Make it a part of your daily life. Let it guide you, heal you, and show you the way forward. Because in the stillness, your path becomes clear. In a world that constantly demands your attention and response, it's easy to feel drained. Every conversation, every argument, every explanation takes a piece of your energy. But what if I told you that the simple act of staying silent could become your shield? Silence is more than the absence of words. It's a deliberate act of self-preservation. It's a way of conserving your inner strength and protecting the energy you need to thrive. Think about energy as your most valuable currency. Each time you engage in unnecessary conversations, defend yourself against unwarranted criticism, or react impulsively to situations, you spend that currency. And like any limited resource, once it's gone, it's gone. Silence is the practice of choosing when, where, and how to spend your energy wisely. When you stay silent, you create a buffer between yourself and the chaos of the world. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opinion deserves your response. Silence protects you from being pulled into conflicts that don't serve you or align with your purpose. It allows you to focus on what truly matters instead of being distracted by the noise of negativity or drama. One of the most significant ways silence protects your energy is by reducing emotional exhaustion. Think about the last time you got caught up in a heated argument or felt compelled to explain your choices to someone who didn't understand or appreciate them. How did you feel afterward? Chances are you felt depleted. Words can be draining, especially when they're used to defend yourself or prove a point. Silence, on the other hand, is a way of saying, I don't need to justify myself to anyone. It's an act of self-respect and self-care. Silence also protects your mental energy. When you speak less, you think more. You have time to process your emotions, evaluate your thoughts, and decide the best course of action. This clarity prevents impulsive reactions that can lead to regret or unnecessary complications. Instead of letting your energy be scattered in all directions, silence helps you channel it into intentional and meaningful actions. Furthermore, silence creates a sense of mystery and boundaries. When you don't constantly share your thoughts, plans, or emotions with others, you maintain control over your narrative. People are less likely to take advantage of you or manipulate your words when you choose to remain quiet. This boundary not only protects your energy, but also commands respect. It sends a message that you value your time and peace. Silence is also a powerful tool for self-reflection. When you withdraw from the noise of the outside world, you have the opportunity to tune into your inner world. You can assess where your energy is being spent and whether it's aligned with your goals and values. Are you pouring your energy into things that uplift you, or are you wasting it on situations and people that drain you? Silence gives you the space to answer these questions honestly and make necessary adjustments. Another way silence protects your energy is by diffusing negativity. When faced with criticism, gossip, or provocation, silence can be your greatest ally. By refusing to engage, you deny negativity the power to affect you. It's like being in the eye of a storm calm, centered and untouched by the chaos around you. Remember, not every comment deserves a response, and not every critic deserves your attention. Your energy is too valuable to waste on things that don't contribute to your growth or well-being. Silence is restorative. Just as your body needs rest to recover and recharge, your mind and spirit need moments of stillness. In silence, you can reconnect with yourself, find peace, and replenish your inner reserves. Whether it's through meditation, quiet time in nature, or simply sitting in stillness, these moments of silence are essential for maintaining your energy and well-being. In a world that glorifies noise and constant communication, choosing silence is a radical act of self-preservation. It's a way of saying, my peace is more important than your opinion, and my energy is too precious to waste on things that don't matter. So the next time you feel the urge to speak, react, or explain, pause, take a breath. Consider whether your words will add value or if silence will serve you better. Protect your energy because it's the fuel that powers your dreams, your relationships, and your life. And silence is the key to keeping that fuel where it belongs with you. In a world that often equates loudness with strength and constant talking with leadership, quiet confidence stands out as a powerful force. It's a presence that doesn't need to shout to be noticed or explain itself to be understood. Quiet confidence is the kind of strength that doesn't rely on external validation, it radiates from within. It speaks volumes without uttering a single word. What is quiet confidence? It's not about arrogance or dominance. It's the calm assurance that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of. It's about walking into a room with the kind of energy that commands respect without demanding attention. This type of confidence is rooted in authenticity. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone because you've already proven yourself to the most important person you. People with quiet confidence don't feel the need to overcompensate. They don't dominate conversations or push their opinions onto others. Instead, they listen more than they speak, observe more than they react, and choose their words with care. This restraint isn't a sign of passivity, it's a reflection of their inner strength. They understand that actions often carry more weight than words, and that true influence comes from being consistent, reliable, and intentional. Quiet confidence also allows you to remain composed in challenging situations. Think about how much more impactful it is when someone handles adversity with grace and poise rather than panic or defensiveness. And a quiet, confident person doesn't get rattled by external chaos because their sense of self isn't tied to the opinions or actions of others. They know how to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. And this ability often earns them the trust and respect of those around them. Another hallmark of quiet confidence is the ability to let your achievements speak for themselves. There's no need for excessive self-promotion when your work, character, and results already tell your story. The loudest person in the room isn't always the most knowledgeable or skilled often. It's the one who listens carefully, learns continually, and lets their success do the talking. When you embody quiet confidence, people will notice your capabilities not because you boast about them, but because they're evident in everything you do. Quiet confidence also fosters stronger relationships. People are naturally drawn to those who exude calm, steady assurance. When you're confident without being overbearing, you create an environment where others feel safe to express themselves. You're approachable, empathetic, and non-judgmental, which makes your presence not only respected but also valued. This type of confidence builds trust, deepens connections, and inspires others to bring their best selves to the table. Moreover, quiet confidence teaches you the power of choosing your battles wisely. Not every situation requires your input, and not every challenge is worth your energy. When you're secure in yourself, you don't feel the need to respond to every slight criticism or misunderstanding. You learn to discern what truly matters and let the rest go. This restraint doesn't come from weakness, it comes from knowing your worth and refusing to waste your energy on things that don't serve you. One of the most compelling aspects of quiet confidence is its authenticity. It isn't something you put on to impress others, it's a reflection of the work you've done to understand and accept yourself. It's built on a foundation of self-awareness, self-respect, and self-belief. When you have quiet confidence, you don't need to seek approval or chase validation. You're comfortable in your own skin, and that comfort radiates outward, influencing those around you. In a society that often rewards those who speak the loudest, quiet confidence is a refreshing alternative. It's a reminder that you don't have to shout to make an impact or talk endlessly to be heard. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is simply showing up as your authentic self, doing your best work, and letting your presence speak for itself. So embrace quiet confidence. Let your calm demeanor and steady strength be your voice. Choose your words carefully, act with intention, and trust that your energy will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Because in the end, it's not about how much noise you make, it's about how deeply you resonate. And quiet confidence, it resonates far and wide. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from life's challenges, adapt to change, and thrive despite adversity. It's a quality we all admire and aspire to, but how do we cultivate it? Surprisingly, one of the most powerful tools for building resilience is silence. In the quiet moments of reflection, recovery, and growth, we find the strength to face life's toughest trials. Silence allows us to pause and process our experiences. Life can feel relentless, with one challenge piling onto another before we've even had the chance to catch our breath. When we don't take time to reflect, we risk becoming overwhelmed or disconnected from our emotions. Silence gives us the space to acknowledge what we're feeling, whether it's pain, fear, or frustration, without judgment. This awareness is the first step toward resilience, because you can't overcome what you don't face. In silence, you can begin to unpack the lessons hidden in hardship. Every difficulty we encounter carries a message, but we can only hear it if we stop to listen. Silence helps us see the patterns in our lives, recognize our strengths, and identify the areas where we need to grow. It's not about dwelling on what went wrong, it's about understanding how we can move forward with greater wisdom and strength. When you allow yourself this time of introspection, you turn setbacks into stepping stones. Silence also builds resilience by fostering emotional regulation. When life gets hard, our first instinct is often to react to vent, argue, or lash out. But these knee-jerk responses can drain us emotionally and escalate the situation. Silence teaches us the value of restraint. By pausing before reacting, we give ourselves the chance to choose a response that aligns with our values and long-term goals. Over time, this ability to self-regulate becomes a cornerstone of resilience, helping us stay grounded even in the face of chaos. Another way silence builds resilience is by helping us conserve our energy. Life's challenges can be exhausting, and if we're not careful, we can deplete ourselves by constantly explaining, defending, or proving ourselves to others. Silence is a way of saying, I don't need to engage in every battle or justify every decision. It protects our mental and emotional resources, allowing us to focus on what truly matters: solving problems, healing, and growing stronger. Silence also encourages us to connect with our inner strength. In the noise of everyday life, it's easy to forget just how capable we are. But in the quiet, we can hear the whispers of our resilience, the reminders of all the challenges we've already overcome. We can reconnect with the parts of ourselves that are brave, resourceful, and determined. This self-reliance is the bedrock of resilience, and silence is the place where it's nurtured. Moreover, silence fosters creativity and problem solving. When we're faced with obstacles, it's often in the quiet moments of reflection that the best solutions arise. Our minds need space to wander, explore possibilities, and think outside the box. By stepping away from the noise and giving ourselves time to think, we open the door to new ideas and perspectives. This creativity is a vital part of resilience because it helps us find innovative ways to overcome difficulties. Silence provides the rest and renewal we need to keep going. Resilience isn't just about pushing through challenges, it's also about knowing when to pause and recharge. In the stillness, we can let go of stress, reconnect with ourselves, and replenish our inner reserves. This renewal is essential for long-term resilience because it ensures we have the strength to face whatever comes next. In a culture that often glorifies busyness and noise, choosing silence can feel counterintuitive. But it's in the quiet that we find the space to heal, grow, and become stronger. Silence isn't a sign of weakness, it's a testament to our ability to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. So when life gets tough, don't be afraid to retreat into the quiet. Use it as a tool to process your emotions, conserve your energy, and reconnect with your strength. Let silence be your sanctuary and your source of resilience. Because in this stillness, you'll find everything you need to rise again. In a world that thrives on constant motion, stillness is often overlooked. We live in a society that celebrates the hustle, the grind, and the race to achieve. But if we turn to nature, we see a different truth, a truth that whispers stillness is powerful. Stillness is transformative. Nature rewards stillness in profound and meaningful ways, offering lessons that are vital for our well-being and growth. Consider a calm lake at dawn. When the waters are still, they reflect the surrounding landscape with perfect clarity. The mountains, the trees, the sky, everything is mirrored in a way that feels almost sacred. But when the surface is disturbed by ripples or waves, that clarity is lost. This is a metaphor for our lives. When we allow ourselves to be still, we gain the ability to see things clearly, to reflect on our goals, relationships, and challenges without the distortions caused by constant noise and movement. In stillness, nature thrives. Look at the way seeds germinate. A seed buried in the soil doesn't grow because it's in a hurry or constantly moving. It grows because it's still, allowing the nutrients of the earth, the warmth of the sun, and the flow of water to nurture it. This process is slow, deliberate, and quiet. Yet in that stillness lies the blueprint for something magnificent: a towering tree, a vibrant flower, or a field of grain. Similarly, when we embrace stillness in our lives, we create space for growth and transformation. It's in the quiet moments that we gather the strength to bloom. Nature also teaches us that stillness is necessary for renewal. Take the example of winter. During this season, many plants and animals enter a period of dormancy. The trees shed their leaves, animals hibernate, and the landscape appears to rest. But beneath the surface, important processes are taking place. Roots grow deeper, seeds prepare to sprout, and animals conserve energy for the active months ahead. This stillness is not an activity, it's preparation. It's nature's way of ensuring that when the time comes, life can burst forth with vigor. Similarly, when we allow ourselves to be still, we give our minds, bodies, and spirits the time they need to renew and recharge. This rest is essential for achieving our full potential. In the fast-paced world we live in, we are often told that success comes from doing more, pushing harder, and constantly filling every minute of our day with activity. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that productivity is directly linked to our level of busyness. But in truth, some of the most innovative ideas and breakthroughs come not from relentless effort, but from the quiet, reflective spaces that we create when we embrace silence. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of stillness, of openness, of allowing ourselves to simply be in this state. We make room for our creativity to emerge naturally. When we step away from the constant rush and the pressure of deadlines, we allow our minds to wander, to explore, and to make connections that we would otherwise miss. In the stillness, we create the perfect environment for new ideas to take root. Creativity thrives in an environment of calm. Think about the last time you came up with a truly brilliant idea. Was it while you were rushing from one task to the next? Or was it during a moment when you were sitting quietly, perhaps staring out the window, taking a walk, or enjoying a moment of peace in your day? Most likely, the moment of creativity came in a space where your mind was free to wander, to be open to inspiration, and to make connections that weren't obvious at first glance. The human mind is incredibly powerful, but it needs space to function at its highest potential. When we are overwhelmed with information, distractions, and obligations, our creativity is stifled. Our brains are filled with so much input that it becomes difficult to process new ideas or make connections between seemingly unrelated things. However, when we embrace silence, we allow our minds to rest. This rest is not a sign of laziness, but an essential process that makes room for new thoughts, new perspectives, and fresh ideas. Consider how often we get our best ideas in the shower, during a walk in nature, or when we are lying awake at night in the quiet of our rooms. These moments of stillness are when we can hear the whispers of our creativity. By creating space for ourselves to simply be present with our thoughts, we allow our minds to focus on what truly matters, on what we can create, on what we want to explore, and on how we can solve the problems before us. Creativity flows in the silence because the mind is no longer cluttered with the noise of the external world. One of the greatest gifts of silence is its ability to silence the inner critic. So often we are our own worst enemies, doubting our ideas and questioning our potential. This internal chatter can drown out our creative impulses and prevent us from fully expressing ourselves. When we embrace silence, we quiet this inner critic and create an environment where our ideas can flow freely without judgment. In this space, there is no right or wrong, there is only exploration and expression. Without the pressure of perfection, we allow ourselves to play, to experiment, and to think outside the box. Silence also gives us the time to reflect. Reflection is essential for creative growth because it allows us to connect the dots between different experiences, ideas, and influences. When we reflect, we look back at what has worked and what hasn't, and we gain insights that can shape our next steps. Often, it is only in moments of stillness that we are able to look at the bigger picture, to step away from the details, and to see how everything fits together. This reflection often leads to aha moments, those moments of clarity where the solution to a problem becomes suddenly obvious. Silence provides the mental space for these realizations to occur. Moreover, when we embrace silence, we allow ourselves to reconnect with our intuition. Intuition is the creative spark that often guides us when we can't see the logical answer or the right path. It's that gut feeling, that deep knowing that comes from within, and it is often in silence that we can truly hear it. The more we cultivate silence, the more we strengthen our intuitive abilities, which in turn fuels our creativity. When we trust our intuition, we stop second guessing and start creating with confidence and authenticity. We also learn to embrace the unknown. Creativity often requires us to venture into uncharted territory, to try things that may not have been done before, and to explore ideas that seem far-fetched. But in a world filled with noise and expectations, it's easy to fall into the trap of trying to predict outcomes, to control every detail, and to avoid uncertainty. Silence teaches us to sit with the unknown, to embrace the mystery of the creative process, and to trust that the answers will come when they are ready. This trust is essential for creativity because it frees us from the need for constant certainty and perfection. We can create not from fear, but from freedom. Silence helps us to listen. True creativity doesn't just come from thinking, it comes from listening. Listening to the world around us, to other people, to our own thoughts, and to the whispers of our heart. In silence, we tune into this deep listening. We hear the subtle rhythms of the universe, the patterns in nature, and the unspoken truths that shape our experiences. When we listen, we are able to take in all the information, inspiration, and energy around us and channel it into our creative work. Creativity is not something we can force it. It's something that emerges naturally when we create the conditions for it to thrive. And the best conditions for creativity to flourish are found in silence. Silence frees our minds, quiets our fears, and opens us up to new ideas, new possibilities, and new ways of thinking. When we embrace silence, we invite creativity into our lives. We make space for it to grow, to flourish, and to change the world. So take a moment each day to step into the quiet, to embrace stillness, and to allow your creativity to flow freely. Because in the silence, everything you need to create is already waiting for you. In the busyness of life, it's easy to lose sight of who we really are and what we truly want. We are so often consumed by external demands, work, relationships, societal expectations that we forget to check in with ourselves. The noise around us drowns out our inner voice, and we begin to lose touch with the most essential part of who we are, our higher self. Our higher self is that deeper, wiser aspect of ourselves that transcends the everyday ego and connects us to a sense of purpose, meaning and inner peace. It is the part of us that is aligned with our true values and the person we are meant to become. However, to connect with this higher self, we must first create space for it to emerge. Stillness is the key to unlocking this connection. The distractions of life. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept up in the constant barrage of information, tasks, and interactions. We are expected to always be on to be productive, responsive, and active at all times. But in this constant doing, we often forget the importance of simply being. We forget that in order to truly connect with ourselves and with the greater forces that guide us, we must create moments of stillness. Stillness, in its simplest form, is the absence of external distractions. It is not just the lack of sound or movement, but the space where our minds can quiet down, our bodies can rest, and our souls can breathe. It is in stillness that we are able to hear the whispers of our higher self, the part of us that is connected to something greater than the day-to-day stresses we encounter. In silence, we reconnect with the wisdom that resides deep within us, letting go of external noise. One of the most powerful aspects of stillness is its ability to silence the external noise that surrounds us. We live in a world where we are constantly being bombarded with messages from the media, social networks, and the people around us. Each of these messages pulls us in different directions, making it harder for us to stay grounded in who we truly are. These external influences tell us how to look, how to behave, and what we should value. When we step into stillness, we give ourselves the opportunity to disconnect from these influences. We stop listening to the expectations of others, and instead we turn inward. In this quiet space, we can listen to our own thoughts, feelings, and desires, free from judgment or outside influence. This is when we begin to hear the voice of our higher self, the part of us that knows what is truly important, that understands our deeper purpose, and that guides us toward fulfillment. The power of reflection. Stillness also creates the perfect space for reflection. Reflection allows us to take a step back and assess our lives from a place of inner calm. In the rush of our daily routines, we rarely take the time to ask ourselves the hard questions. Am I on the right path? What truly matters to me? Am I living in alignment with my deepest values? Reflection is the process by which we connect with our higher self. It's in these quiet moments of self-inquiry that we discover our true desires, strengths, and weaknesses. It's in stillness that we allow ourselves to face the uncomfortable truths about who we are, while also recognizing our potential. Reflection gives us the opportunity to realign with our higher self, ensuring that we are not simply reacting to life's demands, but living in harmony with our deeper purpose. The role of intuition in stillness. Our higher self communicates with us through intuition, the subtle inner knowing that guides us toward the right choices and decisions. Intuition is not always loud or dramatic. It doesn't come in the form of grand signs or obvious answers. Often, it is a quiet feeling, a knowing deep within, that gently nudges us in a certain direction. Stillness is the space in which our intuition becomes clear. When our minds are cluttered with noise and distractions, it becomes difficult to hear the soft whispers of our inner guidance. But in the stillness, we create the mental and emotional space for our intuition to rise to the surface. It is in these quiet moments that we can clearly hear what our higher self is trying to tell us, whether it's the next step to take, a decision to make, or an insight that we need to act on. When we allow ourselves to be still, we can connect more deeply with our inner wisdom. This wisdom is not just logical or intellectual, it is a deeper knowing that comes from the core of our being. It is a knowing that aligns us with our truest self and helps us live a life that is authentic and true to who we are at the deepest level. The spiritual connection. Stillness does more than connect us to our inner wisdom. It also connects us to something larger than ourselves. Many people experience moments of stillness as moments of spiritual awakening. In silence, we are able to tap into a higher consciousness, whether it is the universe, a higher power, or simply the deeper mysteries of life. In stillness, we remember that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. For some, this connection to the divine or universal energy comes through prayer, meditation, or deep contemplation. For others, it may come simply through being present in nature or in a moment of quiet reflection. Stillness allows us to access this spiritual realm, to feel the connection to the infinite, and to remember that we are not alone. We are part of a larger interconnected web of existence, and when we connect to our higher self, we connect to this greater energy that flows through all things.